fucking dyslexia.
Hey, are you tired of reading books with your hands? Mm-hmm. That's like a baby's toy. Did you know that you can get Aaron Clarey's books in an audio form? Check the links in the description to get audiobooks for Reconnaissance Man and more, and toss this shit away.
Winning. What up, faggots?
You know what is so deliciously hot to me?
You know what is so deliciously hot to me?
Popp. Popp! Popp!
Popp here.
Stop staring at her tits.
But they're right there, my God, man. Yeah. Laci Green, my fans have been begging me to go after you for quite some time now, and today's the day. If you guys out there who don't know who the hell that is, we're gonna give you a quick rundown. Laci is a gender studies graduate. Imagine my surprise. And she is desperately trying to make that degree account for something in this world. She has a show called Sex Plus or Sex Positive, and maybe she makes it between her shifts at Hooters. The only thing positive about her show, I would say probably her STD panel, but I don't know anything about that. She's on that soapbox because she wants to have serious academic discussions about social justice, marketed solely on a pair of nice, luscious tits. Yes, gentlemen, Laci Green is arguably the biggest hypocrite on YouTube. And when that esteemed company includes people like, I don't know, Steve Shives, and that racist cum dumpster from MTV, and the Young Turks, that's quite an accomplishment. And today we're gonna look at her attempt to justify trigger warnings. So while we're at it, why don't you just throw away your razors, because you know, patriarchy and stuff, and let us begin.
Oh hey babes, Laci here. It is a sweaty LA night, the perfect time to talk about trigger warnings.
That is gross. I'm going to throw up.
Dude, the thing is broken.
It's not broken, I just checked everything.
Seems to be working fine.
Holy shit snacks!
Hey guys, big fan.
Dude, is that cartoon talking to us?
I think he is.
Holy shit, who the hell is that?
I'm the white YouTuber.
Dude, what the hell's in this shit?
It's just beer.
Bullshit.
Guys, I'm really here. You're not on drugs, at least I don't think so.
So why do you look like a Wii avatar that got face fucked by a frat bro?
Well, damn, that was cold.
Well, you know, everyone gets bagged on. It's kind of our thing.
Yeah, I got the memo, so you want to take a stab at this chick together?
Yeah, why not?
Lock her in from both sides and high five over her back.
That sounds kind of gay, though.
It's not gay. Is that gay?
That's pretty fucking gay, man.
The whole fucking world's against me, dude. I swear to God.
Just turn on the Space Ghost, you'll be all right.
Oh hey babes, Laci here. It is a sweaty LA night, the perfect time to talk about trigger warnings.
That is gross. I'm going to throw up. And how does that make it the perfect time for trigger warnings?
There's been a bunch of, verbal vomit about trigger warnings the past year or so.
Verbal vomit? Alright, that's new to me.
In this chick's case, it's more like verbal diarrhea. Because you won't believe some of the shit that comes out of her squirt extractor. And her tender, moist.
Popp,
What?
you're doing it again.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Most recently, the University of Chicago released this letter to incoming freshmen. They said, quote, our commitment to academic freedom means we don't support so-called trigger warnings, we don't cancel invited speakers because their topics might prove controversial, and we don't condone the creation of intellectual safe spaces where individuals can retreat from ideas and perspectives at odds with their own.
Fucking good. Finally a university that's standing up to this whole safe space nonsense. And also, why is there a fucking stain on that letter? First you were talking about sweat and now stains? I'm starting to think you're fucking disgusting.
Wait a minute. Isn't that the chick that doesn't shave her pits?
Yep.
Oh, well, I'm pretty sure we just solved the mystery of that stain. I bet her boyfriend's name is Brad Pittstains.
The problem with this statement is the same problem with a lot of critiques of trigger warnings on the internet.
Oh boy, here we go, people. Get ready for another moment where Laci Green talks down to you.
I like to talk down to her, if you know what I mean. It looks good, baby. It's all in the rhythm. It's all in the rhythm, yeah.
That's not what a trigger warning is. It is not a retreat from ideas and perspectives.
Bullshit! Oh, sorry.
If it is actually being used in that way, then the trigger warning is being misused.
Like how some people aren't real feminists? Even though they're making the policy and speaking on behalf of the entire movement, it doesn't stop there. They claim to speak for women in general.
I first became aware of trigger warnings when I was in college.
Oh, you learned something in college? Well, that's what college is for, so people can share their ideas openly. This is a way where young adults can get ready for the real world, Lacy.
But it was not in class, it was during an internship.
Oh, okay, so it wasn't in class, because God forbid you learned something in class, Lacy.
I was working with domestic abuse survivors at a state agency.
Hey, dude, you have to turn left up there.
All right. Pardon me while I turn on my virtue signal.
Trigger warnings exist to give someone a little bit of a buffer before confronting them with information, graphics, whatever that may be deeply painful.
Got her in. Oh.
Well, see, in my mind, Lacy, that's an unneeded default setting. And what I mean by that is most of the time when you go up to someone and say at one point, trigger warning, most of the time the person's gonna go, oh, that's not needed. So why not the default setting basically in a regular human conversation be no trigger warning? That way, if something ever comes up where a person goes, hey, can we not talk about that? It makes me feel uncomfortable. The other person talking to them could go, okay, sure, no problem.
They are specifically used in populations which may be experiencing higher levels of trauma.
Now listen, Lacy, I've been in the military for 31 years, I've been involved in 3 wars, and I've seen some shit that'll turn you white.
I resemble that remark.
And as a result, I really suffer from real PTSD, not that bullshit you get from Twitter. If I needed a trigger warning for all of the bullshit that bothers me and keeps me up at night, I'd be agoraphobic. And not one restaurant in New York and Michigan could cook bacon. And you wanna know why? Because that's what fat, burning flesh smells like.
Anyone else hungry, for like a bacon cheeseburger or something?
To help them cope, compartmentalize, and keep moving forward.
But Lacy, that's not helping people move forward. That's keeping people in a box. I think that's keeping people in basically a room, a shelter where they can't experience things that they might be able to experience in the world.
Now, I think where things got a little bit more complex and thus more controversial is when they were translated for usage in the blogosphere.
The blogosphere? See, this is where you fucking lose me, Lacy, because you're talking to someone who doesn't even have a fucking Facebook.
Whitey, consider yourself lucky. Yeah, because we all know once the internet gets a hold of something, eventually it winds up on Tumblr. And when that happens, that bullshit piles up until it reaches critical mass.
Now you have online communities that want very specific trigger warnings. People talking about very specific things. I don't think it's up to me to say, people overuse trigger warnings or whatever.
Oh, that's great, except for the fact that they fucking do it. Oh, and a lot. Trigger warnings are so overused, I don't just lump them over there with, racist and sexism. Because in today's day and age, they have about the same amount of meaning. That would be, 0. The only trigger warning you get from me is wah or shut the fuck up.
But I do think the demand for really specific trigger warnings in very general settings has been used to undermine the legitimacy and value of trigger warnings as a whole.
No one's undermining what people have gone through in the past. No one's undermining any serious situation someone might have went through in their past. But what we're saying is we shouldn't have to force other people to talk differently based off what they went through in the past. That just doesn't make any sense, Lacy.
Another observation worth noting is that trigger warnings are part of a broader ideology where people's experiences and people's needs are taken into account. It's more of a nurturing culture.
I'm glad you called it an ideology, but here's the thing about ideologies. They're basically, like religions or maybe a cult. They get pissed off when you question them, and then they close their minds to new ideas. So you can see why trigger warnings have become a negative thing.
I'm triggered.
There are so many people out there that are using these trigger warnings as an excuse to put themselves in their own echo chamber bubble. And in there, they sit down, plug their ears, and they play with bubbles and puppies. Did you ever blow bubbles when you were a kid? Well, he's back in town and he wants your phone number.
Trigger warnings and the culture that surrounds them runs directly contradictory to hyper masculinity, where everyone's tough.
What?
And we make fun of people who are weak little pussy crybabies.
What the hell is wrong with you women? Are part of your brains in your tits?
Did you just assume her gender?
Yep.
The backlash backlash to trigger warnings isn't necessarily sexist, but I think that it is fueled by sexism.
What? Where did that come from? Where am I? That's such an M. Night Shyamalan fucking twist to the video. I made a fucking wrong turn. That escalated so fucking quickly.
This is nothing but a fucked up backflip of mental gymnastics. Only a feminist can watch this bullshit that's that smelly and think it makes sense.
Why, out of nowhere, did that come about, Lacy? Are you gonna explain to us why you picked that?
I'm going to end on what I actually agree with the dean on.
Okay, okay, I guess she's gonna just go say, fuck it, what I say goes.
Lacy, you cannot take a hard U-turn like that and not back it up. I feel like I'm trapped in the car heading towards a brick wall, and guess what? You stink up the whole thing with a rancid fart. Safety.
And that's that controversial speakers, short of hate speech,
Hate speech doesn't exist, biatcha! And watch me some Space Ghost.
should not be banned from speaking at universities. That's ridiculous. Censorship is not the answer to social justice problems.
See, there's something I can actually agree with in that. But when you're sorting out all that fake news, you gotta consider the source. And this comes from someone who loves to throw copyright claims to silence her critics. And then she bitches about being targeted for censorship herself.
I am intimately familiar with this issue because I have been targeted for censorship.
Perfect, Lacy, but that's what safe spaces and trigger warnings are. Safe spaces and trigger warnings block out ideas on a college campus.
Without censorship, these social justice warriors would have failed years ago. Censorship is their bread and butter. Put it on thick, bitches. Without that, you have nothing but your feelings.
Alright, those are my thoughts.
If you could call them that.
I definitely want to know what you all think. Is this something that has actually affected you at school? I'm particularly curious about that because there is actually some data to suggest that this whole trigger warnings on campus panic is completely overblown in the first place. Like, not a lot of people are actually complaining about this to professors.
Oh, really?
I first became aware of trigger warnings when I was in college. There's been a bunch of, verbal vomit. Now you have online communities that want very specific trigger warnings. The demand for really specific trigger warnings in very general settings. Not a lot of people are actually complaining about this.
That's why this has become common knowledge to pretty much everyone with a brainstem?
So, it's internet drama for you.
All right, are we done? Are we done? What? She's gonna advertise her we can just skip this. Let's just talk about the video, okay? So my thoughts on this. First off, congrats to the University of Chicago. Don't fucking kneel down to the whole,
oh, you must consider our safe spaces. This is supposed to be a safe space. This is our campus.
no, fuck that bullshit. You pay just like all the other students pay, so fuck you. Second off, Lacy, trigger warnings and safe spaces, like I said before, what they do is stop. They stop ideas in a college setting. They stop ideas in the real world. And college is basically a way for young adults to get ready for the real fucking world. So yeah, all these colleges going, oh, you know what, maybe we should implement safe spaces because the fucking students scare us. No, fuck that. It's your university. You tell the students what's going to go down, and then they have a right to either pay to go to your campus or not. It's that fucking simple. Safe spaces and trigger warnings, they stop movement. They stop development.
Well, hell yeah, what he said. Yeah, he put it real cut and dry. I couldn't do it any better than that. Lacy, honey, it's real funny watching you try to brain. You just keep trying to make a mark on that EEG. Maybe it'll spike one day. I want to thank the white YouTuber out there for our joint smackdown. And make sure you subscribe to his channel, because I fucking said so. Edit that out. And if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to our channel too. And if you don't, I'll be triggered. And then I'll have to go make a model of Lacy's tits out of Play-Doh.
The reflection of its people, and this is exactly a reflection of Trump's presidency.
Okay, stop. No, stop. I'm done. I can't. I just can't with this woman. I really fucking can't. The only thing this reflects is that this woman is batshit crazy. She's painting with human blood because she just doesn't like Donald Trump that much. Is that reasonable?